Egomaniac alert. The Last of Us director Peter HOAR says he did not intend to make the world cry uncontrollably. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. We're going to be talking about The Last of Us today because I've seen a little interesting article about The Last of Us, more specifically about the episode Long Time, which in my opinion is easily the most overrated episode of a TV series that I have ever seen. Now, obviously, people are going to push this episode because it fits their narrative. They're going to say it's the greatest episode ever, even though it was not. And I'll talk a little bit more about the episode in a minute. However, the director, Peter HOAR, he was talking about the fact that he was a fan of the video games. He was delighted when he found out he was going to be able to work with The Last of Us, even though he didn't know what episode he was going to direct. And he said he would not change anything that he did in episode 3. And he pointed out that he did not intend to make the whole world cry uncontrollably. I think that's a bit of a stretch to say that he made the whole world cry uncontrollably. Yeah, there was a lot of people pretending like this was the best episode ever, but there was a lot of people that did not like this episode. There was a lot of people that thought this episode sucked. So to say that the whole world was on board, that the whole world thought this was some emotional roller coaster episode, I mean, that's not the case. That is not the case at all. But that's what Peter HOAR had to say. Quote, I didn't certainly set out to tell a story that would make the whole world cry uncontrollably, but I did. There was one note that I gave Murray. I said, maybe this is a scene where we don't cry. It was impossible because Bill was so passionate in the moment, saying to his love Frank that he was his purpose. And Murray was like, I can't do it. Look at him. I can't do it. He's just so beautiful and human. I can't hold it in. So that note was redundant. I'm there to make people feel something. End of quote. Like, who does this guy think he is? Honestly, he says that he didn't set out to tell a story that would make the whole world cry uncontrollably, but I did. No, you didn't. You did not. I didn't cry this episode. I watched this episode, and by the time it was over, I thought, wow, god damn it, they've butchered this series. A filler episode in episode 3. They completely deviated away from what happened in the game. We don't even get to see Bill meeting up with Ellie. That was one of the best story arcs of the game, when you arrive at Bill's layout, Bill's compound, yard, whatever you want to call it, Bill's town. When you arrive with Joel and Ellie, the dialogue between Bill and Ellie and Joel in that part of the game, that is one of the funnest part of the games. Hands down, that's one of the best part of the games, and they completely removed that from the TV series because they felt it would be more important to push some gay romance between Bill and Frank. And that's what they done. And you know 100%, you know for a fact, if Bill and Frank were not gay, if this was a male and female couple, they would not have had an entire episode devoted to them. That is a fact. And B, no one would be pretending like this is the best episode ever. But because it was two men in a romance, of course they have to say it was 10 out of 10, best episode ever, we'll remember it for a long time, pun intended, blah 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 blah. But when you think about it, if you actually look at The Last of Us, it's an incredibly woke show. It is so fucking woke, it's actually unreal. Season 1, they decided to squeeze the entire game into 9 episodes, and when you look at those 9 episodes, 2 of those 9 episodes were filler. And what did the 2 filler episodes? The 2 filler episodes had nothing to do with the main story. What did they include? 2 LGBT romances. So that's all this show was for, really. You know, they decided to ruin the show. They decided to ruin the flow, ruin the pacing. Those extra 2 episodes could have helped tell the story of the game, but instead they decided that they'd rather tell the story of 2 gay romantic couples. So, you know, that's on The Last of Us, but let's be real, the whole world certainly was not crying. There was actually, if you look at it, there's a lot of negative feedbacks and a lot of negative reviews on episode 3 and 7. So it's not like the whole world loved episode 3, the whole world was emotionally involved in episode 3. That is not the case. So, I mean, this guy's certainly got an ego, and I'm surprised, because if he is truly a fan of the video games, then he must know himself that episode 3 is a letdown, because they've took away one of the best part of the games just so they could include this Bill and Frank story that we didn't get to see in the game. Now, I'm not saying they can't show it. Of course you could show it, but it should have been a flashback at best. Or if you want to show it, then you've got to make this season longer. It can't be 9 episodes, or either you just don't tell the full first game in one season. You have to do something else. You cannot. How can you give Bill and Frank? How can you give them a long episode in episode 3, and then the ending, the finale, is the shortest episode of the series, and it has to tell the whole story? Like, when we got to the ending of this series, you did not feel the emotional connection between Joel and Ellie that you did in the video game. And a part of the reason for that was because it was a short season, and it's because they wasted 2 entire episodes on filler stuff just to promote, like I say, gay characters. So, I mean, it is what it is. I certainly wasn't crying. I certainly wasn't emotional, and I know the whole world wasn't crying either. Anyway, guys, that's it. Let me know your thoughts down below. Season 2 of The Last of Us. I know they've just cast it Abby. Am I going to watch it? Of course, I'll watch it. I'll check it out. I'll definitely watch the premiere. Will I watch the entire Season 2? I don't know. That I cannot say. But Season 2 premiere will be on the channel. There will be news videos on Season 2. We're also still yet to upload the Season 1 finale review. And the reason for that is simply because I didn't really enjoy the show. Now, I am going to do it. I'm probably going to do it within the next couple of days or 2. But yeah, no, I just, at the start, I wanted to talk about The Last of Us. I was excited. I thought the first 2 episodes were great. After the first 2 episodes, I was hooked on the show, and I thought it had potential to be one of the best shows on TV. I really did. But then you got episode 3, it was filler, and then episode 4 was pretty slow, not a lot happened. And then when you got into the good parts of this, like the parts with Sam and his brother, they squeezed that into one episode, and it just wasn't enough time. And then the whole Tommy stuff they squeezed into one episode. Then the whole David stuff they squeezed into one episode. They squeezed all these story arcs into one episode, yet all these episodes had less time than Bill and Frank, and we didn't even get to see them in the game. So you can obviously see they pushed an agenda, and they were willing to ruin the show in order to make sure that agenda got pushed. So you know what? That's on The Last of Us. That's on Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, or whatever he's called. So that's on those guys. Anyway, catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.